Yeah. I want to be comfortable.
Oh, comfortable.
Comfortable. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna talk about some serious stuff tonight, and I just
Okay.
wanted to be comfortable. When we're doing it.
All right.
So, the other night she tells me she's gonna do some stuff with some candles,
Got excited.
like the big,
Naturally
like,
got excited?
long wax candles, right?
Okay.
No, I did not get excited. I thought, okay, well, cool. I'm gonna go shower. So I did,
Okay.
and I didn't really think much of it, And she, she spent some time doing something downstairs, and I didn't question it, Well, I go to sleep early, and I hear like what sounds like an explosion in like a plate dropping from like way high up or something, like glass shattering. So this is now like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Our son was sick. I pop out of bed, run downstairs. I'm like, yo, like, I'm ready to go to war. Like I'm like in cortisol level 1000, like and there's 2 candles that were on plates, and the candles melted down to the plates, overheated the plates exploded and fell from our second story down to the first story, right? But the problem is when it exploded, it got wax everywhere.
Oh my God.
But when I came downstairs, you want to know what I saw? A fire on that shelf when you walk upstairs, like that.
Yeah.
That little tiny short wall thing.
Yeah.
There was a fire in the corner, like the whole thing was on fire. And I'm just like,
Where
the fuck?
and where was she?
She came downstairs after me, but I didn't know if someone was down there or not, so she didn't come right away.
Uh-oh.
So as soon as she heard me go, man, what the fuck? She came downstairs. So
Okay, got it.
yeah, things have not settled out in the witchcraft territory, but we learned a very valuable lesson about plates and heat.
Yeah, there you go. It's science.
Yeah, science project has been, and let me tell you, cleaning up wax while it's hot is not fun.
It's got to be one of
And
the worst experiences.
Cleaning up wax while it's not hot is equally as not fun. There is no good way to clean up wax.
That's true.
Yeah.
Got you.
I mean,
Okay.
especially at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that feels like once I put the fire out, it feels like one of those things that you wait until the next day.
So now we got some fire scars in the house. Adds character, I guess.
Exactly. The imperfections make the home perfect.
Very restoration hardware of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going with that for now. That's all I got. Is hope.
So I love. We used to watch those Food Network channels where they would be baking cakes, and when they would like not come out the way they would want, it'd just be spread out all over the plate. They go, "It's a deconstructed so and so cake." You're like, bro.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, bro. None of my cakes ever come out good, and I eat them anyway. You know what I mean?
You make cakes?
I bake a lot of cake.
Okay, look at you. I didn't know you had that talent.
I'm a baker, bro.
Oh, you bake cakes.
I bake cakes.
Got you.
Yeah.
I'll leave that alone.
You should leave that alone.
Welcome back to the #1 financial literacy podcast in the world. Hopefully you're still locked in, tuned in. Sitting next to me on my left is my partner in crime, Chris Nahibi.
If you didn't go here, I wasn't going to go to the intro, so I'm glad you did. My partner in time, the one and only Saied Omar, everybody.
Thank you, my man. And sitting behind the ones and twos, back again, not on PTO, DJ Haroon.
Hello.
Are you going on PTO again soon? Because we haven't had an announcement in a while, and I just feel like it's
It's only
traditional.
been 2 weeks.
It's got to get
Only
it.
been 2 weeks. I have to reoccur it. Or no, not reoccur it.
Accrue.
Accrue.
You even know how it works. That's the problem.
I just claim PTO and I still get paid somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that we had a little bit of an election coming up. And as we are recording this, it is November 6th, the day before the FOMC announcement. It is largely to believe, if you've been listening to the rhetoric, it's largely believed that you're going to get a 25 basis point rate cut tomorrow, but you could be surprised.
Definitely going to get it based on some of the data points we'll be talking about shortly. Oh, old school.
Yeah, for Haroon, because he
That
can't
was
open up cans
nice.
anymore.
He comes to the show with the can already popped.
No, I thought he doesn't do caffeine at night anymore.
Oh, man,
No, I
he's
still
rocking the Celsius right now.
Are you really? Bro, the Celsius hype you up too much.
Bro.
Yeah, I'm
You
at
said
the last,
4
like,
words
sip.
last show, not 2.
Yeah, the Celsius really gets you going. You said that it has something in it that there's no like caffeine blocker.
Yeah, it basically blocks the normal response to caffeine, and just like your body just takes in more of the caffeine. So it doesn't have as much caffeine, but your body gets more of like a. You ever drank one and you feel like your body's like heating a little bit or tingly because of that?
Yeah.
You don't seem very sincere at all when you say yeah.
No, the caffeine doesn't have an impact on me anymore, man.
Stop.
It's gotten bad.
Stop.
Oh, yeah,
It
have a
does.
Celsius.
I mean,
I can't drink Celsius. I drink a lot of caffeine though. I can drink it all day long.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't have an effect on you anymore.
All right, so this is episode 245. We're coming out of election, going into an FOMC meeting, lots of stuff going on. So let's talk about where we're at. Let's give a state of the union, if you will.
Okay.
Let's explain why you're paying more for cars, why you're paying more for homes,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much everything in between.
Yeah. But this is actually episode 255. Just a correction.
245.
No, it's
No,
two-
it's 255.
it's
55?
255.
I think
Did I
you're
fuck that up?
Yeah.
I thought you were
yeah.
connecting this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
it's a
bad.
dyslexia coming.
I have
It's
dyslexia.
okay.
Is it really?
I'm gonna let it go.
Jesus. I didn't even catch that till you said something. I've looked at this thing like 16 times.
I was so confused. I was like, damn, I know I don't watch the episodes, but
You know, I once thought while I was editing the show, like, I'll put some nice effects. Like when we say something like one of these fun facts that I put in there for you,
Yeah.
right? Like when Saied says one of those, like I'll have the words going behind him, like all fancy, like just swoop in, like sexy. And then I'm like, these fuckers are never gonna see it.
Bro, you know who does that a lot is Neil Brennan, his podcast.
I don't even know who that is.
Neil Brennan? Come on, dog.
Is he the Catalina wine mixer guy?
No, man. He was Dave Chappelle's like right hand on the Dave Chappelle show.
Why would I know that?
He's an amazing comedian. What are you talking
no
about?
idea this
You
is
know
a
who he
response.
is, bro. What are you talking about?
I have no idea who this guy is.
yes, you do.
Oh my
No,
god.
I don't.
He's a fantastic comic.
I mean, he's got big ears.
Oh, he's
What
one
you
of the
got about big ears?
he's great. Yeah, what you got against big ears. Anyways, this is a financial literacy show.
American comedian and writer. I have no idea who that is.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets a lot of credit for the Dave Chappelle show.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right, so let's jump into the Wall Street Journal, shall we? Let's get right into it. Shall we get into the good stuff, the moist stuff that you like?
The moist goody good stuff.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Let's do it.
All right. So immediately after the election kind of wore off on me a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and last night I decided to look back at a lot of the data, knowing that tomorrow is a big day. The Fed is going to announce a rate cut, most likely at 25 basis points. And because of that, I thought, okay, we had a pretty heavy pivot in the markets in response to the last Fed rate cut that went the other way from expectation. Mortgage rates went up, the treasury bond yield curves went up. And I know what you're thinking. People just had more confidence in the long end of the curve, 10 years out. They were like, okay, I have more confidence in the future now that the rate cuts have had, and the bond market reflected that. But today, the day after the election ended, on the 6th, November 6th, the market was resoundingly positive. The stock market was banging out.
Right.
I mean, it was a good day. If you invested in Tesla, you woke up to some profits.
Mm-hmm.
You invested in the banking community, the banking sector was up. I mean, there was a lot of positivity in the markets today. It was kind of stunning.
Yeah.
That is an unusual response in a lot of ways, but it's also a good thing, and it's a good symbol for the economy. Going into a rate cut tomorrow, I do expect there to be some optimism built into that as well.
Absolutely.
So it should be interesting to see how this all plays out, but there's a lot of negative news.
Well, and I mean, also, if you gotta remember, if guys like us, and if you've been tuning into the show, and we're reading what the predictions are that they're baking in another 25 basis point cut tomorrow ahead of time, you gotta believe that that's already priced into whatever mortgage rates are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't see mortgage rates come down, you got to understand that's because it's already priced in. I think that was the big the misconception the last time around when we did get that rate cut, and people were like, they thought mortgage rates come down. That's not how it works. That's not how they respond.
Yeah, and I think you're not going to see mortgage rates go down, or at least not in the near term anyway.
Yeah, and not because of this.
Not because of this, but largely because, and here's the way I like to position with most people is the bond market, particularly the 10-year treasury bond, has the biggest influence on the 30-year mortgage that we all look at as, quote, the mortgage rate, right? And as people get more and more confidence in the long term, bond yields return higher and higher percentages. It pushes those yields up.
Mm-hmm.
People have more and more confidence that the long term is going to be healthy. It's going to be beneficial.
Right.
And as a result of that, it pushes mortgage rates up because it's the closest proxy to mortgage rates, the 10-year treasury. So right now, as of today, it was over 4.4 and some change.
Yep.
The 10-year. That is wildly high and pretty big movement, not only in a single day, but over the course of the last couple of months. It is bumped up significantly.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that, you've seen mortgage rates creep up pretty dramatically.
Right. So if you're one of those people that is really trying to track mortgage rates, that's the figure that you want to stay locked in on, the 10-year treasury, because mortgage rates tend to be somewhere between 2 to 3% higher than whatever the 10-year comes in at. So if you're looking at 4.4%, I mean, you're looking at either a 6.4% or maybe 7.4%.
And I've seen rates in and around those ranges. So look at you.
I mean, that's
Just
what we do, man.
giving ranges of details and
You're
everything.
welcome.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were financial literate.
Green jacket on the way.
Green jacket.
Let's go.
Not the golfing one.
No, I wish.
Yeah. Job growth slowed sharply last month with workers sidelined by hurricane effects and the continuing Boeing strike. Both of these things, by the way, Saied has some fun facts for you on the impact of how these things can actually affect you.
Mm-hmm.
The Labor Department on Friday reported that the economy added a seasonally adjusted 12,000 jobs in October versus a September gain of 223,000. That's a pretty big drop.
That's a wild swing, man.
Yeah, that's from like hundreds of thousands down to 12,000.
Yeah, and don't forget, the Bureau of Labor Statistics came out a couple months ago and said, we kind of overestimated jobs over the course of this last year by 800,000.
Yeah.
And they also came out recently and said that they overestimated jobs in August and September by 112,000. So this is a huge swing. And just for like, a baseline number, they expected 100,000 jobs to be added. And that is, generally speaking, the amount of jobs that should be added every month just to keep up with population growth.
Yep.
Right? So to be at a number like 12,000, this is the lowest report in 4 years.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a wild figure.
Yeah, and it's in my mind, it's about as close to a real-time. So the number of jobs added to me is as close as a real-time proxy to unemployment percentages as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
And to give you a good example of this in a different way, to me, mortgage applications, the number of people applying for mortgages, is the greatest proxy for home values and where they're likely to go, right?
Right.
So if you see a huge slowdown in mortgage applications, the home values are probably going to go down over time because there's not a lot of people buying,
Yeah.
right? Well, it's the same thing. If there's not a lot of jobs being added, then unemployment's probably going to go up because there's just not a lot of new jobs.
Yeah, and if you're sitting there and you're one of the many, many people that are confused because you're reading all these different headlines, you're not crazy.
Okay? Oh, you're crazy. You're listening to this show. You can't be normal.
Yeah, you're definitely not normal, but we like you're kind of not normal.
Speaking of not normal, and we have to get back to the show, obviously, but you ever listen to somebody else's financial literacy podcast, like anybody else's?
Not a podcast. I've seen, like, I've said on the show, I like Humphrey Yang stuff.
Yeah, I would say he's more of a YouTuber.
None of them are like financial literacy podcasts.
And they're not really fun.
No, they're
Even
not.
Humphrey Yang is like a little serious.
He's a little serious, but he's got some, like, I don't know, some anecdotal jokes that he slides in here and there.
Very rarely, and they're very dry humor.
They're very. Yeah, you don't get this anywhere else,
dude. And like Mark Zandi's podcast, Moody's a big brand, good podcast, terrible show.
Yeah, I've checked out a couple of the Earn Your Leisure stuff just because a lot of people pimp them out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, not a fan.
Not a fan, right?
Not honestly, they got all these different segments, and I'm tuning in. And I'm like, okay, where's the value? I'm looking to see what's the value, what's the draw.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're literally just pimping out the sponsorships.
Oh, we got a review that referenced that. And
yeah.
So somebody once asked me, like, why don't you guys have like more financially related sponsors or pimp out more financial stuff? And I thought to myself, because it devalues the message.
Yeah.
If we're like, hey, man, home values only going to go up for the next 5 years. Buy now. Buy now. Use my realtor network like Dave Ramsey.
Right.
You just devalue everything that you're doing. Ironically, it's working well for him, so maybe I'm wrong. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, for his pockets, it's working well. But I mean,
you can't trust a goddamn thing he says.
You really shouldn't be trusting a lot of the stuff that he's saying, because it's also a lot of what he's saying is not practical
and it's self-interested. He has a reason to do it.
Right.
Well, let's get back to the Wall Street Journal. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're hearing some of these headlines and these figures and you're wondering, like, wait a minute, am I crazy? They're saying that the economy's strong, unemployment rate at 4.1% is, extremely low when compared to historical numbers, right? But then if it's so strong, we just added only 12,000 jobs. And if it's so strong, why do we need to cut? Why does the Fed feel like they need to cut rates?
Yeah, because it's not so strong. And we'll get into a lot of reasons why as we go through the show tonight. But there's a lot of challenges. And like we told you during the port strike, let's go. I mean, you've already kind of commented on the rest of the Wall Street Journal article, so let's forego the foreplay, get right into the fun stuff. Fun fact, the hurricane impact here. The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that each 0.1% increase in unemployment following a natural disaster translates to roughly 125,000 fewer jobs in the affected areas.
Holy cow.
That's a lot of jobs in the areas. this could, to contextualize this, right? In the recent slowdown, what you got now, that could be a huge play into why October was the way that it was. But you're also talking nationally, and these hurricanes were only in one particular area. So if I'm looking at this, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this in and of itself does not justify the employment change.
Right.
So yeah, sure, the natural disaster was an impact here, but in and of itself, that's only 125,000 fewer jobs. Even in a worst case event scenario, that's only half of what they were supposed to be. It's still short of the estimates. And at 12,000, you got a bigger problem nationally.
Yeah.
National disasters and unemployment, according to FEMA, natural disasters have cost the U.S. approximately $150 billion annually over the past 5 years, indirectly affecting job growth as businesses temporarily shut down and recover.
Yeah, man.
So all these things that are kind of the long-term effects of some of these weather disasters that we just don't think about are going to have long-lasting impacts on some of the economic decisions that the people that we have in place to make them are making.
Oh, man. I mean, me personally, right? So underwriter by trade, I'm looking at insurance policies that, some people are holding. And there's something called an AM Best rating for insurance policies, right? Basically rates the insurance company and basically it's a grade level that they get to see how strong they are, right? So what I'm seeing now lately is a lot of them are getting downgraded, okay?
Yeah.
And they're being downgraded for the main reason is too many policyholders.
Yeah.
It's like you have too many people that you might need to service. So shit could go bad for you really south or really bad as an insurance company, right? And you're like, man, so they're getting punished for, getting too many clients, too many customers.
Yeah, man. Politically, some of the regulation and some of the reviews of independent companies, it's taxing. If you're a consumer, you're trying to figure out who to trust and believe from a company perspective. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like some of these rating agencies, you're going okay, wait a minute. You're saying they have more risk of loss, but they're an insurance company, so they're supposed to have risk of loss. So if they've grown in scale, then they have greater risk of loss because they have more clients.
Yeah.
Shouldn't they be a bigger, stronger company as a result of that?
Yeah, exactly.
But someone looks at the rating agency and goes, oh, they're a B-. No, I don't like them.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what
You know what I mean? There's no logic behind it. You're just like,
Right.
okay, all right,
Right.
sure, I'll pass.
Yeah, yeah.
Another fun fact, the strike impact. We talked a lot about this on a previous show. Well, Boeing strike alone is estimated to shave off $1.6 billion from Q4 GDP, showing how labor disruptions can have a ripple effect on the broader economic metrics beyond just job count. So all these things that we see in the news, like, oh my God, they're going to strike. They're going to strike. The port strike. There are long-lasting real impacts to GDP.
Mm-hmm.
Natural disasters, long-lasting real impacts to jobs. And all this data, jobs to GDP, are what the Fed and other people look at when they go, is the economy healthy?
Yeah.
Is it healthy? So I bring all this up as kind of a beginning stage to contextualize that we're getting a lot of inputs that seem to suggest that the needle's going to be moving the wrong way.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And if you look at the jobs report, this was really good if you wanted a rate cut, right? Because this is the last big jobs number to come out before tomorrow's decision.
Solidifies the fact that they will be cutting rates. Yeah.
At least that's the market perception. I mean, they could come out and be like, you know what? We don't need this thug life.
Yeah. Fuck y'all.
Yeah. Y'all can stay home, talk amongst yourselves, but you would not get in 25 basis points.
Yeah,
And that could very well happen. I think I'm pretty much 100% they're going to give us 25 basis points.
Predictions are at 99%. But what was really interesting is predictions also came out for the December meeting that's coming out.
What are they at?
So
I haven't checked.
Before the jobs report came out, there was a 74% chance that they will also be cutting again in December.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. After the jobs report, it's north of 80%. So it increased because this is just, fueling the fire. Like, yeah, you're right. We need to get in front of this before it gets really bad.
And if you're taking what the FOMC telegraphed, it's really 25 basis points in November, 25 basis points in December would probably be your approximation of what they said they were going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it may probably just a little bit more than what they actually said because they did that 50 basis points to start off with.
Yeah. They came out hard. Haroon, if you could scroll down a little bit and give me a little bit of Coco Sexy. Yeah, car buyers.
Man.
I saw a Tesla that was offering 0% interest, and I thought I could send this to you and really ruin your day because that wasn't around when you were looking for a car. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to be a better human.
I test drove the Model Y, man. I wasn't a fan.
Wow.
I know I just upset a lot of people who have Model Ys.
Wow. Why are you such a terrible human being?
Okay, you know that, what is it called? The degenerative braking system?
Regenerative braking.
Oh, sorry. Regenerative braking system?
You're degenerate.
I'm a degenerate.
That regenerates.
Okay, yeah. The
Yeah.
degenerates driving the Teslas? No, I'm just kidding. The regenerative braking system that it has, they didn't tell me if you could turn that on or off, right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so that guy did. I asked him. He said no, right? So
It's just a little toggle switch.
that was my main reason why, because it made me motion sickness to drive it.
Well, it's because you don't know how to drive it yet. You have to figure out how to
Nah, man, no. And
What do you mean, no?
and Adam gets motion sickness from that stuff, so I couldn't even. I didn't even want to mess around with it. So we ended up getting the Volkswagen.
Why wouldn't you ask me? I have a Tesla.
No, but maybe it was only available. You know how they were weird, bro? They do something for the X, but not for the Y.
The X is the premium version. It has all the things.
Yeah, so you have the X, so that's the premium, so you get it. Maybe the Y doesn't get it. Are you sure
you would know if you. Haroon, help me out here.
Are you sure that the Y has it?
What? That has a what? The regenerative braking?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all
No,
do.
no, no. I want to be able to turn it off.
Yes.
How do you know?
How do you know?
You
I've
work for
driven one.
Tesla? Oh,
Nah.
you've driven one.
Which one?
I test drove one.
Do you
Why?
have the
Why would you
upgrades?
test drive one when you had the Jeep and you have the Rivian? I'm calling shenanigans.
No, I was contemplating, maybe a Model Y if it had enough room and it was big enough.
It was pretty small. It's tight.
It's tight.
Like a toy guy.
And then, but I also wanted to experience what it was like to not have the screen in front of me, because they have that center screen, not the screen. Because the Model X is a screen in front of you.
Honestly,
the dash screen.
the one screen thing with 0 buttons at all, it's like, it's very frustrating. I feel like I'm like,
I don't like it personally.
I don't like it. I need a handful of buttons.
That's part of the reason why I like the Rivian truck, is that it has like all the screens.
Rivian truck looks far superior.
Mine's covered in bird poop at the moment, so yeah. All right, so even some high-income Americans can't afford new cars anymore.
High income Americans.
I
too.
started reading these numbers, and I put in a lot of, as Haroon would say, copy here, because this was pretay damn scary stuff.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You got to hear. I was gonna say.
Yeah, you're gonna steal some more
I
thunder.
don't want. I don't want to steal any thunder. Because when we talk about
Do
these
you
topics,
read the show notes?
we've been discussing these topics, and it's good because you can always like go back and compare to what we said. And it's true, man. These prices are going up.
Car buyers across America, even those with comfortable incomes like Levine, I don't know who that is. I think it was just an example from the earlier article, but he had a douchebag name, so you got to include him, right?
What? Adam Levine, bro.
No, last name okay, first name not okay,
Okay.
right?
Oh yeah, Levine as the first name you're saying, and not
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Like Adam Smith, fine. Smith Adam, no, you're weird.
What, so I got 3 first names. What do you got to say? Is
Yeah,
that
but-
now am I back over to the cool side?
Yeah, you're questionable.
I've now
but
lapped you.
whatever. Anyway, they're dropping out of the new car market. The pandemic supply shortages that drove sticker prices skyward are in the rearview mirror, but the cost of a new set of wheels continues to climb. The average price of a new car this year is $48,205, up, you ready?
Mm.
21% from 5 years ago, according to researcher Cox Automotive Inc. And growing frustration over auto affordability is yet another kitchen table economy concern that's bound to be running through the minds of American voters as they head to the polls yesterday.
I mean, this plays right into what I wanted to get into. So, if you compare wage growth to what it was 5 years ago,
Didn't keep up.
wage growth only grew 18% in the last 5 years.
Bro, I heard a debate literally this morning about guys, very wealthy guys, saying, oh, wage growth's catching up. It's not a big deal. This is on CNBC, by the way.
Come on, guys.
Live show.
Out of tune.
And they were like, oh, it's not that bad. Wage growth's catching back up. Wages are totally, they're roaring and ready to go. And I'm like, you two rich assholes have no idea what you're talking about.
0. Absolutely, right? So the reported rate of inflation that's grown in the last 5 years, reported figure, all in, the average figure is 23%. But we know necessary things like groceries, come on, bro, way higher than 23%. We're talking 40, 50%. Housing, don't get me started with rent, housing everywhere. What about just car insurance?
It's ridiculous.
Car insurance is way above 50%. And these are things that we all need to pay. So
I hate
the
that they
overall
extort you out of it,
the
you know what I mean?
overall average, reported rate of inflation over the last 5 years being 23% and the wage growth only being 18%, that's not even painting an accurate picture, but it's still showing that it's far below. It has not kept up with everything. But like we like to say on the show, why you need to be financially literate. literate, right?
Literal?
Yeah,
Literal.
literate.
I'm not going to go.
Is that the S&P 500 over the course of the last 5 years
Mm-hmm.
has grown 91%.
But that only matters if you've cashed out of it.
It does only matter, but the whole point of it is to stay in it long term, right?
Mhm.
It's like you can't time the market, but you can control how much time you've been in the market, bro. Gems.
You were dying to say
Gems.
that all shit.
Gems, bro. Hey, you're welcome.
Remind me, I'll make a reel out of it.
what
I'll
I
have the
do.
glasses drop down. Come on.
Dog life.
Little Snoop Dogg reference.
Or you can just make it very cheesy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of cheesy in and of itself. I don't need to add much to
Bro,
it.
the problem was I wasn't even trying. It came out naturally.
No, it didn't.
I swear to God.
You would practice that at least 6 times in front of the mirror.
I swear I did.
That half-ass smile.
But I want to get into we had a question from a listener, but I want to do it after this.
We do it after this?
Yeah.
Okay, we should also talk about how you got me into a Twitter war today.
Me personally.
Oh, you did. Yeah.
I'm not on Twitter.
I know. That's
It's
how
not even-
pervasive your
Not-
perspective
and you're
is.
Not, you're not on Twitter either. You're on X.
I'm on X. Yeah, well, okay, I'm on Twitter/X, whatever it was. Someone called me out for some shit you said.
What did I do?
Bro, you got me in a whole lot, and I'm like defending it.
You're defending me?
Yeah, I'll give you just a hint.
Oh,
The guy was like, okay, paper hands.
Oh, because I said diamond hands?
Yeah, you got me in all sorts of trouble. All right, so back to the Bloomberg Business Week article. Sticker shock is increasingly scaring off many would-be buyers. A recent survey by the automotive research Edmunds.com found that almost half of American car shoppers expect to pay $35,000 or less for a new car. Talk about out of touch. That makes sense because the average trade-in is 6 years old, which means those buyers last purchased a new car back when the average price was in the mid-30s. When they return to the showroom and discover that they'll have to pay almost $50,000, they're walking away. The Edmunds survey found that 73% of consumers are holding off on buying a new car because of the cost.
Yeah, and you're not doing yourself any favors if you're going and just getting regular financing through, their financing department. Rates are somewhere between, 6, 7, 8%, right? Or, unless you're getting a deal like at Tesla, right? Or
I've always recommended, like, if you're going to finance your car, which, all good, right? If you go to a credit union, if you belong to a credit union, great, you might have some opportunities, but you need to shop around for best price. Do not go to the dealership for the best pricing unless they're offering like 0% or 1% financing, in which case you might not be able to beat that.
yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I did at the time.
Except you could have had 0%
I do have 0% right now.
on a Tesla.
Yeah, the only benefit there is the longer range. I only get 200 miles.
Look, if you're happy going less distance than me, and that's okay.
I don't care. I get there though.
That's also fine.
I get
Like,
there. I'm happy just because I get there.
I'm sure you're happy, but not
Yeah.
everybody is fulfilled with the range that you have.
But I'm fulfilled. I care about my range.
That's okay. You're a smaller man than me. If that makes you
Why do you gotta go there?
distance-wise.
Distance.
I have 420 miles of range. How much range do you have?
Yeah, we're talking about car range, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
How long do you go?
200 miles. It lasts me a long time because I don't drive very far.
I bet it feels like a long time.
Oh man.
Monthly payments on new car loans now average $767, up 17% from just 4 years ago, according to Cox.
I feel like I just got a heart attack hearing that number. $767.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude. And 1 in 6 new car buyers this year will take on payments of more than $1,000 a month. Edmund says, blame it on ballooning sticker prices resulting from more technology, automakers' quest for fatter profit margins, and, of course, skyrocketing auto loan rates.
Yeah.
There's 3 fun facts here. Haroon, you want to read something tonight? You want to get involved?
No.
Let's see where
Did
the
your hand-
let's see,
did you say
let's
no?
see, he said-
Yeah, I said no.
let's see where the energy levels are at.
Yeah,
No.
show us how it's done, Haroon. Go
Hey,
for
come
it.
on, go.
We'll wait.
Come on. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do this.
All right, let's do it. Let's just make sure I can say all the words. All right, cool.
There's no big words.
Just want to make sure there's no jargon in there.
All
All right, fun fact: new versus used price gap.
Let's go.
All right, I'm tagging out. Go
All
for
that
it.
shit.
Come on, bro.
Come on.
Come on, you got this.
I tapped.
Oh, he tapped.
The
All right, let's
price
go.
gap between new and used vehicles has reached a record 30%, pushing more budget-conscious buyers toward the used market. 5 years ago, this gap was closer to 15%.
Damn.
Yeah. Another one. I got all the fun facts. I like the fun facts. I think they add value. No.
All right, let me go. Interest rate and loan terms. To cope with high prices, buyers are stretching their car loan terms longer than ever. Over 42% of new car loans now extend to 72 months or more, which can lead to paying for more in interest over time and increase the risk of being upside down on loans. So basically what that means is, are you like, how long of a loan are you getting? We typically recommend somewhere, ideally, nothing more than 4 years. Right, and the ideal
5's okay too.
5 is definitely okay, but if you can try to get it to 4, that way you're never really upside down. And then when you do sell the car, or another thing that you could do is you could always go 5, and then if you could put more down towards principal every month, just do that, and
You know what I've done
you'll pay it off
historically,
sooner.
and I know this is terrible to say because it sounds elitist, but I'll get a 72-month car payment, right? I'll finance it, get a 72-month car payment, have it as a trade line, and then I'll pay it off early after like a year.
Why do you do it that way?
I like to just make sure I got trade lines that are building credit and keeping credit constant over time.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right? With car loans, that's a really good way to boost your credit.
Yeah, so I have so one of the challenges I have with my credit is that I've got a lot of different trade lines because I have a lot of mortgages, and not all my mortgages are commercial, so they do show up on my personal credit report.
Well, explain to people what do you mean by trade lines.
Oh, damn it. I was about to ask that.
Well, you contributed so well to your reading earlier.
You gotta just jump in, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta get in where you fit in.
Is this your first podcast that you've done with us? It's funny because normally you do that to me when I read, and now you're doing it to you because you read.
It was my first time. Watch.
Look,
Next episode.
I hope we went smooth and slow for your first time.
We're gonna give it another shot later at the end of this episode.
If you had a little bit longer range, you probably could have, enjoyed it more.
Oh, back to the range.
So each item on your credit report is a trade line. If you have a credit card, then the history of that performance on that credit card, when you opened it, how long you've had it, how you paid it over time, if you always paid on time, that's a trade line.
Mm-hmm.
The more of those you have, the old school methodology was like, oh my God, the more trade lines you have that are paid as agreed, the better. Not necessarily. The algorithm takes into account things like how much available credit do you have to you versus how much have you utilized. If you've got $100,000 you can utilize, but you're using all $100,000, that's not good.
Yeah.
If you're using only, $2,000 of $100,000, that's also okay as long as you're using it and paying it off consistently.
Yes.
So it really comes down to a bunch of different factors. One of the factors that I know is that I've got a lot of long-term installment loans. So I got I think 7 mortgages on my personal credit report.
Installment loans meaning it's a loan that will get paid off
Over time.
Over time versus a revolving line or a charge account.
Yeah.
Right.
So think of you want a good, healthy mix of different types of credits. You want revolving ones like credit cards. You want installment loans like homes and car loans.
Yes.
What I try to tell people is, and there's student loans in there as well, but they don't, in my mind, impact things as well. If you have just credit cards because you haven't bought a home and your credit score is kind of like, it's very, like, for example, if you have like somebody look into your credit and your credit score drops pretty dramatically because you had an inquiry into your credit, it's because you don't have something like an installment loan anchoring it. So what I tell people is, little hack that I do, go get a car loan or get a car loan if you're looking to buy a car, even if you can pay it off in cash, just because having that installment line, even there for a little bit of time, will help anchor your credit with the performance of that installment loan as opposed to just the revolving debt.
Absolutely.
So I've just found that works better from our algorithmic standpoint, but everybody's got their own way.
Right. And another thing to keep in mind too is I don't know if there's a real general rule of thumb, but my own rule of thumb for myself and my wife are no more than 3 credit cards, right? And actually I only have 2. Because if you do if you do have more, right? Let's just say you have the one you have with your bank, and you still have my college credit card, and then let's say you open up like a Nordstrom card or a Macy's card or something, and then you have it for a while, and you're like, oh, I'm not really using it anymore, whatever, and you close it down. Well, you closing it down is now decreasing your total credit available, so it actually hurts your credit to close it down. So keep that in mind too when you're closing down accounts.
Yeah, I had one more fun fact, which I thought was kind of interesting. Then I had a funny story.
Okay.
About me being a total douchebag. And I know how much you like those. Haroon loves them because he gets to make fun of me for an hour.
Right.
So, you drive by car dealerships and you used to see the lots just like jam-packed.
Oh, yeah.
And even though car prices are what they are, like, I don't see them as jam-packed as it once did. Like, they don't have as many cars in the lot, right?
Okay.
Well, I looked up the data here. Due to the supply shortages and increased demand for used cars, dealerships report that 25% fewer used cars, are now available on the market compared to pre-pandemic levels, squeezing affordability further. So because people are holding onto their car and not trading it in because the cost of a new car is so expensive,
Yeah.
there's less used cars on the lot to buy, kind of a snowball effect of cost.
Oh yeah, I mean, just another case for me personally is when I traded in my Jeep recently, right? When you're trading in your car, you want to get the Kelly Blue Book value. I got a Carfax, so you get a general idea for what the value of your car is. Even though I feel like the value of my car was way higher, I mean, everyone naturally thinks that because they think their car is the best, kind of like your home. But I didn't get any like credit towards like some of the upgrades that I had, like the running boards, the bigger wheels, all that. None of that stuff, right? But I think the value came in at, it was supposed to be like somewhere between 27,000. Okay, that was Kelly Blue Book. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'll take it to CarMax, and everyone says that they're good, or Carvana, and I'll go with whichever's the better of the two. Bro, I'm like, I'll walk away. I had a number set in my head. Even if they only offer me like 22, 23, I'll probably take it. 17,000 is what they offered me, right? And I'm like, oh, that's how bad they're hurting. They know that the used market is hurting so bad right now. They got to go that much lower just to make an extra couple bucks on my car.
I don't want to say I sold mine for 16.5 and it was an older model.
Yeah, I know. No, but then I ended up trading mine. I ended up with I got them to go up all the way to 20.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So fuck you very much.
Yeah, fuck you too.
We've had this discussion, Chris.
Oh, I know. On the show?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know? You don't listen to the show.
I'm here.
He's listening, yeah. He listens to it twice, bro. Here and when he's at home editing.
He doesn't really listen to it while he's here. He has this he's usually watching some kind of sports back there.
It's called porn.
It's called porn.
Bro, we both know you're not watching porn. I've checked your testosterone levels for you. Normally, it'd be a great plug for Transcend, who doesn't sponsor us anymore.
All right, so I actually got a question from a listener.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. John King.
I know John.
Yeah. He said, hi, Saied. I love the show. You all are doing great work. Thanks, man.
Lord's work.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He included you too, Odun.
He didn't.
He did. He said you. He said you all.
Yeah, me.
No, you all. You don't say you all for two people. Okay. You all for three.
All right, fine.
Can you guys talk more about when you think a good time to start investing again would be? You mentioned the stock market being overvalued. I've paused my contributions to my investment accounts in favor of high yield savings. I'd like to get back into the market, but am unsure of a good time. I don't want to start right now if the market is overvalued and expect it to crash in the near future.
I wouldn't say crash. I haven't seen any data that suggests a crash in both the housing and the stock markets.
Yeah.
Clearly, they're both overvalued. I'm not going to say a correction isn't due. And just to be clear here, whenever you say crash, you're typically talking about a correction of 20% or more.
Mm-hmm.
Anything less than that is, quote, correction. So that vernacular is very important because it means something. I don't know. Would I like to see a crash in either market? Yeah, I think there's reason why both would be valuable.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that I can see on the horizon. Not to say that we're predicting anything, but nothing that I can see yet on the horizon which would lead us to a market crash. Do I say stop investing? No, I think you can't invest in companies that may or may not be overvalued, or if there's a question that they may, for example. But there are some staples which are not overvalued. Non-tech companies outside of the Mag 7. If you think that their performance is going to increase or improve, look, I'll give you a great example. I think Rivian's got a lot of legs. It's a good stock.
Mm-hmm.
They're not overvalued in the market. They're still a fledgling kind of a new darling company. They got upside. I think what Dara is doing over at Uber is going to continue to progress over time. And as much as Tesla might be part of the Mag 7, and they were up a pretty healthy amount today, I think that what Elon Musk is doing with Tesla, with SpaceX, I think there are some pretty heavy impacts to the population. If you got this whole self-driving, autonomous driving thing really going with the cabs that he's promoted and that you're talking about changing human behaviors.
Yeah.
So I think there's still a lot of upside in the market. You just got to be more strategic with where you put your money. I would not personally put money in funds right now.
Really?
I would invest in companies that I believe in outside of your 401k, your retirement. If you're going into your 401k, your retirement, put it into a fund, ride it over time. You got a long game to play. But for me, if I were investing money into the stock market right now and now we're worried about a correction of any way, shape, or form, I would go into companies that I believe in and be willing to take the loss if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So for me personally, I fully adopt the whole dollar cost averaging. And then nothing makes this point more true than this study right here, right? We've talked about it on the show before. According to Fidelity, assuming someone had invested $10,000 in the S&P 500 index in January of 1980 to December of 2022, we're talking 42 years, right? If they invested in all the days and they never stopped investing, they never pulled their money out, right? Not saying that, this individual pulled their money out. He just said he stopped his contributions. But the point here is that if you invested all your money the entire time, it would have been over $1 million in value at $10,000.
Yeah.
If you miss the best 5 days over the course of those 42 years, so the market has days that it does really, really well, right? The 5 best days out of that 42-year stretch, you're down to $671,000 from $1 million to $671,000. The whole point is, yes, you might be, when you're dollar cost averaging, you might go through days that.
So you're telling everybody to put it in and stay in.
Put it in, stay in.
To dock.
To dock, exactly.
Dock your dollars.
Dock your dollars is a very good T-shirt. Dock your dollars is an amazing T-shirt.
Dock cost averaging.
Dock your dollars is there's nothing we haven't created something better than this.
Everybody in Utah is going to buy this.
Everybody at BYU is going to buy this.
We should just go to BYU and give them dock your dollars.
Dock your dollars. Come on, Doc.
Just put it in and leave it there.
Yeah. So, just think about that, right? So, again, back to my corny and cheesy saying, right? You can't time the market. It's about how much time you're in the market. Damn, I'm good.
Unless you've got, shorter range.
Right, unless you got shorter range. Just to bring this full circle, let me tell you the rest of the stat is if you missed the best 10 days out of that 42-year stretch, you'd have 483,000. If you missed the best 30 days, 173,000. If you missed the best 50 days, 76,000. 50 days? Dog, come on. You're down to 76,000. That's 93% less.
Hey, man. Sometimes those days matter.
So yeah, so if you're thinking about yourself long term and investing, I get the idea. It's overvalued, but it will correct itself eventually, and you don't want to miss out on that one day where you could really be making all your gains, bro. It's all about the gains, bro.
This show went off the rails a long time ago.
It did.
Why are we doing this still? Haroon, are you interested at all in what we're saying anymore, or is it just all phallic jokes?
We're trying to keep it fun.
Oh, I'm in it.
Are you in it?
Yeah.
You docking it?
Yep.
You're staying in?
Bro.
Docked and just said it.
We gotta hit up Hannah, bro. That dock your dollars.
I can't, dude. She's religious. I can't be like Hannah. Look.
She is? Oh, we can't do
she's
it.
very religious.
Oh, I didn't know that. We can't do
Can
that.
you explain what dock your dollars means, Chris, so I can?
I just need you to
put some graphics
have a
around
boat that gets docked.
Boats and hoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Boats and hoes. Oh man. Dock your dollars.
You're a terrible human being. All right. Well, it isn't just cars that are having problems.
Mhm.
Well, home affordability and the inability for most people to buy a home, particularly first-time home buyers, is having some ramifications to the demographic of home buyers out there. This, according to CNBC Make It, the average age of U.S. home buyers has jumped to 56. Homes are wildly unaffordable for young people, real estate experts say. You don't have to be a real estate expert to know that. The age for first-time home buyers, don't worry, is less, but not as low as you might hope or thought that it was. The average age of home buyers in the U.S. has risen by 6 years since July of 2023.
So
Another sign that younger Americans are being priced out of the market due to escalating home ownership costs. The average age of home buyers is now 56, up from 49 in 2023, according to the National Association of Realtors annual State of the Market report released on Monday.
Yeah.
That is a historic high, up from the average age in the low to mid 40s in the early 2010s. The median age for first-time home buyers also rose from 35 to 38, while the share of first-time buyers dropped from 32% to 24% of all buyers for the year ending July 2024. That marks the lowest percentage since the National Association of Realtors started tracking the metric in 1981, baby.
Dude, this is a
problem.
A much bigger discussion to be had here, right? How many people do you know don't even begin to start to try and grow their families until they get into their first home, right?
There's a lot of people who just aren't having kids right now.
They aren't having kids right now, just given what's going on, in the market and job instability.
It's not just this though. Like everybody wants to be younger longer.
That too, but for me personally, I can speak for myself. I did not want to start my family, right, growing my family until we had our first home, right? Not to say there's anything wrong with it. I just wanted that stability. I didn't want to even think about having to move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and all that. Like, if how many people are waiting to start now that they're? I actually have a cousin too that recently.
You got like a lot of cousins though. That's a problem.
What do you mean? I got cousins
I
got cousins on cousins,
yeah,
bro.
You got too many cousins.
Yeah, too many.
Just pick 3.
You don't have too many cousins?
No, I don't have cousins like that.
Come on, I call you my cousin.
Huh? No, you don't.
Come on, cuz.
You call me your daddy.
But yeah, I mean, and then family sizes are going to be shrinking because of this too.
Oh, dude, it's already happening. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to get to the point now where if you're 38 years old and you're buying your first home, you're, I mean, in essence, 15 years behind what was traditionally thought as the age you would move out and buy a home or, get situated.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you bought a home at 30, let's say on average, 30 is a good age. 8 years later, you're buying, I mean, it's getting to the point where it's going to have huge ramifications for people's financial futures because the number one source of wealth for most Americans is the equity they build up in their home over time.
That's what it has been up until now. That's going to have to change.
Yeah. So, fun fact, your shit talking on cryptocurrency has led to people thinking that I am a crypto hater on X. And because of your shit talking on cryptocurrency, people are like poking the bear at me.
Why? You didn't even make a reel about this.
No, I didn't. But people who listen to the show, there's a lot of people who listen to the show. We get a lot of streams now, and
they're like,
certain people do like crypto, as do I. They just don't realize that you're a terrible human being. So what do? They like post screenshots. Oh, Bitcoin's above 75,000. Now what's going on, paper hands? And I'm like, bro, that's not me. That's my co-host, Saied.
How much of your portfolio is invested in crypto?
None. But that's the point. I cashed out because I do have paper hands.
Paper hands? You got scared?
I got like one half of one Ethereum coin left.
You held on to Ethereum, not Bitcoin, huh?
I sold out of everything.
Yeah.
I really don't. The only reason I have Ethereum is I didn't pull the trigger on like the last incremental piece. I just, not to say that I don't believe in crypto. I don't have an investment strategy around it, and I'm not just going to hold it for.
Like I have family. I got cousins that are.
We know a lot of
that are into crypto, and I'm going to say, a part of me wants it to be the greatest rug pull in the history of rug pulls.
Don't. I'm not associated with this message.
A part of
no.
I kind of want to see it.
I have no association with.
You
this
don't want to
message.
see it.
I don't have any.
No
association.
part of you wants. I want to see that Netflix documentary.
I have no desire to see this.
I want to see that Netflix documentary
on Satoshi or the rug pull.
The rug pull.
I honestly this is terrible. Okay, this is sarcasm for those listening who want to come at me in the DMs or on Twitter or X. Okay, I would love for first of all, there's a guy on social media who was coming out, an Indian guy who had like a very heavy accent who was like, "I am Satoshi," and people were like, "What?"
Yeah,
like he clearly couldn't have been. I would love for Satoshi to be like a government. It's like Russia.
Yeah,
it's like Putin.
Oh, yeah.
Like I would just love for it to be so asinine who it actually is that it totally devalues everybody's faith in it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way, right? What we got here?
This is a guy, Hunt for Bitcoin's elusive creator Satoshi Nakamoto hits another dead end. This Indian guy, look at this pose. Has his cell phone in his left hand because you have to because you're a tech guy.
Gangster.
But you got like the weird print.
It looks like he's wearing pajamas, bro.
Yeah, he's got like a jacket on.
Yeah.
Looks like he has a walker in front of him.
He does look like he has a walker in front
No,
of him.
that's just a chair. It's one of those fancy chairs that has like the chrome.
Oh, it's on both sides.
Yeah, he does have a microphone in his groin.
But why is he leaning like that with a gangster lean?
The groin microphone?
It makes me feel like he is a part of crypto.
No, I think he's trying to do like, I am mysterious.
I am the most interesting man in the world.
I have a beard. There's also, at the same time, there's a Netflix documentary that came out which attempts to expose a little bit more. I've actually been waiting for the right time to watch the documentary, but I hear good things about it, although it's still inconclusive as to who Satoshi actually is. But I would love for it to be, I am Putin, it's me. Your coin is my coin.
Is it out there in the open with how many Bitcoins Satoshi owns?
Yeah, it's on the blockchain.
So how much?
See, look, you're talking shit about products you don't understand.
Bro, wait, how much? Oh, do you gotta look this up? How much does he have?
I think right now,
Or how much does she have? Why are we giving? Yeah, it could be
the
she,
individual who identifies themselves as Satoshi.
Yes. Yeah.
1.1 million Bitcoin tokens is referred to as the Genesis block. Estimates suggest that Nakamoto owns 600,000 to 1.1 million Bitcoin tokens.
And each one's worth like what, 70-some thousand?
75,000 as of today. I know because I got
70
tagged and shit talked because of you.
Damn, bro, it was at 71 this past weekend.
Yeah, it's going up every time we talk shit. It goes up.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
And by we, I mean him.
When that recession hits, y'all gonna see.
Look, don't put me in this.
Y'all gonna see.
This message has been brought to you by Saied.
No, stop it.
Saied at
Stop it. Stop it. I love
higherstandarpodcast.com.
you. I love my crypto bros.
No, you don't.
I love
It's
all of
documented. People I don't even know what like crypto Ethereum handles and shit are tagging me because of you.
I love it.
Like, oh, what you got to say now, bro? You want to talk about it? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm on your side.
No,
And they're like, no, you're not. I'm like, I admittedly sold down.
This article right here really actually makes me sad, man.
You know, people can't see the article you're pointing to.
No, I'm going to come back to it. The average age. I mean, a lot of this probably has to do with, people who are in their like mid to late 50s are cashing in on the equity on their homes that they had, and they're able to move out of the state of California and go somewhere else and, buy all cash probably. They're the only buyers. But I don't know. It makes
How old were you, Chris, when you bought your first home?
2010, so I was 30.
Me too.
Yeah. I was 30, and then bought my second one in 2000.
And that was, by the way, 30 was the average age for the first-time home buyer not too long ago, like less than 10 years ago.
I should be, my first home to live in, or my first property period?
Property period.
Oh, it was in my mid-20s.
Mm.
Yeah. So I lived in a 580 square foot apartment and could not afford to buy a home here, so I bought investment properties in the Midwest long before I started buying here.
Mm.
And then I put in a bunch of offers on what was then REO property well after I'd bought a property here like the traditional way.
I mean, what does it mean when you say you put a bunch of offers in REO properties?
So my first property I bought in California was a $400,000 like build like on a track kind of thing. I had to build. I had to pay for hardscape, everything else. I had no money, and I didn't like doing that. It wound up selling for like 1.2 million, so it was a good deal. That's the only other property I sold besides the one that I sold this year to pay taxes. Still burns.
Yeah.
REO. So after the great financial crisis in 2007, 2008, banks owned a lot of property. They owned so much property they couldn't sell it in the market fast enough for a number of reasons, not the least of which is when they sell it in the market for an accounting purposes, they have to take whatever economic losses they have to take on the loan. So if they made a loan for $500,000 but can only sell the property for $300,000, that $200,000 loss, they have to realize that loss on their balance sheet from an accounting perspective when they sell it, when they hold it.
How much pressure were banks and lenders getting at that time from, let's say, the regulators to, have to sell these properties to, get back some of that cash?
It's very different in the wake of a crisis than when they're fearing a crisis occurring, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So the regulatory pressure was more of like, how are you handling the accounting? Are you doing this right? Are you following the rules? It wasn't like, get rid of all your stuff now, because they knew the ramifications to the institutions were bad. So it's better to flow the stuff into the market, because there's also other ramifications to think about too.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the consumer protection laws across the country are pretty strong in favor of the consumer. So if you foreclose on somebody, it usually takes 120 days plus,
at least, yeah,
to get through that process. Then you have to go through the marketing and sales period. You have to go through that life cycle. So to give you an idea, I put in offers on properties, I'll never forget, in October. And I didn't hear back from any of them except for the one that I wound up buying in 2012 until April, 6 months later.
Wow.
And I got like this call saying you got 48 hours to deposit your money, which I've told you about in the show before.
Yeah.
But, so it was real estate owned. Basically, it was owned by Wells Fargo. I put an offer that was under market. We negotiated back and forth, and I bought that property, which is the one I still live in to this day, for $350,000 with a $25,000 seller's credit. And it's now worth about $1 million.
Dude, so many people came up so nice during that time.
That's
such a good come up.
I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it as like, originally I was going to buy it as an investment property. I just put a bunch of offers in. And then when I did the math that it was cheaper than my 580 square foot apartment based on the financing terms and the purchase price.
Yeah.
To pay the mortgage payment than it was to continue renting. So for me, that was always my inflection point. When it's cheaper to buy than it is to rent, that's when I'm going to buy and live in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. And as a result of that, I wound up getting actually a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath that I was living in. I still live in, versus the 580 square foot junior 1-bedroom glorified studio apartment that I was living in for effectively. I think at the time it was like 15 something, almost 16. No, it was $1,600 a month.
That was one of the first times you hung out with them, huh, Saied? Like when
Back
we
then,
helped him move.
When I helped him move. Yeah, he never asked me to hang out, but then I helped him move.
Yeah, I thought you were the help.
Them thighs.
I thought you
Yeah,
came over.
use all the thighs, and you're like, this guy can handle
He
it.
can lift the couch.
Yeah, that guy right there.
Plus, you know,
He's
I'll be honest, you know, you come with a lot of cousins.
He said,
So,
well done, sir.
bring them all. We can do this all in like 5 minutes.
I'll buy you guys beer and pizza, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
It was walking distance.
Yeah. It was walking distance. And then I had to, do we push the Datsun up to the, no, I drove it, I think. I still drove it. That
You
point.
drove it, yeah.
All right, well, there's some fun facts here. Haroon, you want to give it a second chance?
Nope.
Yeah, let's do this. Come on, bro. You got this.
No,
Don't,
You do,
come
though.
on, man.
You do.
Stop being so soft. You got
Yeah.
I'm
this.
a soft guy.
You are.
Just pick one. Read it. Come on.
All right, fun fact. Younger generation impact. Only 24% of homebuyers are now first-time homebuyers, marking a significant decrease from the historical average of 40%. This drop aligns with other data indicating that millennials and Gen Z are increasingly delaying major life milestones.
That was good. That was
Boom.
good.
I mean, I let a couple things go.
Marketing. Market. Yeah.
Marketing, you caught that, and then he said first-time home buyers again.
marketing.
Yeah, but let's go. But I let it go. I let it go. I'm proud of you.
The average rent-to-income ratio in the United States has climbed to 35%, up from 29% a decade ago, pushing more potential homeowners to remain renters longer than anticipated, further delaying their transition to ownership. And Saied for the trifecta.
The trifecta. Fun fact: home ownership in decline for young adults. Only about 38% of millennials own homes, compared to nearly 50% of baby boomers
Don't point at
at
me,
the
bitch.
same age. Rising prices, limited inventory, and high mortgage rates are significantly curtailing young adults' ability to enter the market.
Yeah. Look at you.
Come on, boomer.
Smooth.
Boomer. Oh, shout out to Nick Gurley. He hasn't made an appearance on the show in a long time.
No, this was a late ad by me. So Nick Gurley on X. Pretty concerning how low home buyer demand is right now. Mortgage apps to buy a home are down 45% from pre-pandemic levels, languishing at the lowest level in 30 years. And now mortgage rates are spiking once again. Obviously, this is not a good combination.
Yeah, so as much as you want to say that, okay, this could be seasonal because of, we're approaching the holidays, that chart is showing that it's going one way, my friend.
Yeah, and for those people who are watching, the video streams.
This way, this chart.
Watch the video streams on either Spider. So I was going to say X. I actually thought about uploading to X, Spotify, or YouTube. You will see a chart, and the chart spikes up, and then spikes back down, and then spikes up a little bit, and then spikes back down. But the down has gone down a lot farther than it had from, call it, 2008 to 2018, where it started to rise again. As a matter of fact, it's down so far, it's down in the 1990s era levels.
Wow.
So that's a pretty dramatic drop off, and if it continues to go down, which frankly is more probable than not at this particular junction, you are looking at possibly the kickoff of a pretty significant correction. Now, notice I'm not saying crash, but correction in home values, which I think, again, it might be a healthy near-term pain for long-term gain.
That's not as cheesy, but it's okay.
No, that was actually just an economic statement.
Yeah,
I know you're used to making cheesy fun facts
So just to further drive home the point of unaffordability.
with your low range.
Yeah, with the lowest of ranges.
What little range you have.
This range is a 5-decade range.
Okay, so I mean, it's about a quarter of my decade range.
Okay. So we're dating back from 1971 to 2021. Okay. Household income during that 5-decade range has grown by 600%. Okay? You think, wow, that's pretty good. It's a lot.
That's a lot of percentage.
Cost of a new car has grown by 840%.
Fuck.
Okay? Price of 1 year college tuition has grown by 2,000%.
Such a scam.
Let's just get
I'm not getting 2,000% more value out of this thing.
zero. Yeah, no way. And I'm indebted for life if I get a loan on this.
It's inflation. What part of educating me is inflation?
Median price of a home sold grew over the course of that 5-decade span by 1,200%.
That's messed up.
Okay, so Household income grew by 600%. You know what else changed within household income? How many families went from one person working to two people working?
Now y'all gotta have two jobs.
And how many of those people in that household are working two jobs, and it still is only grown by 600%?
Yeah, I know.
It's fucked up, man.
Okay, yeah, it is. Take it in. You know, the sad part, I had this realization the other day, and it's messed up, is in one moment I was like, man, I'm really a millionaire. I was like, that's dope.
Don't mean shit no more, huh?
And then I was like, but I know a lot of billionaires. Like, I know a good amount. Like,
Yeah.
on a personal level.
Yeah.
And in the moment, I had this epiphany, like, if you're a millionaire and you're less than 100 million, you're basically middle class. Haroon just laughed.
I mean,
With inflation,
they're not
one
flexing.
Of us, Chris.
They're
One
not
of us.
flexing.
I'm
Yeah.
poor.
They're not. Yeah, exactly. They're not. flexing
I'm
with-
poverty adjacent.
Yeah. Oh man.
I mean, you can't. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's inconsequential. You know the fucked up part? So I was going through my W-2 wages, and I've had a pretty healthy increase from like a year ago. And I looked at my net take home. It's the same. It's literally the exact same.
How did this work out?
I'm like, how did this number go up top line?
Yeah.
After taxes, it's the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is messed up, bro. Like, so I triple checked it, did the math, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
I saw that the new tax brackets came out. I haven't looked into it. I don't know how much that affects it. Maybe we could do a little segment on the show for that.
We probably should. I just hate.
And we're talking about financial literacy because I know a lot of people don't really understand. They see that the tax rate range, and that's not how it necessarily works. It's like a bump up. It's like a tiered system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a progressive tax system.
Exactly.
Look at me using technical terms.
There you go.
So progressive.
You are pretty progressive.
Dock your dollars, baby.
Dock your dollars needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yeah. How are you going to visually represent that?
We got to get creative.
Like a boat? Just staying there?
There's clearly we're docking.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, Warren Buffett. Remember a long, long time ago on the show, we were talking about how like Warren Buffett had stockpiled cash, and people were like, "Come on, bro. He always does that, bro. Y'all don't know what you're talking about, bro."
Yeah, bro. We got attacked so hard for that one.
Hard.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know Warren Buffett's strategies over at Berkshire Hathaway, and you fucking internet trolls do.
Yeah. You want to share?
Somehow I'm the asshole because we're saying he's not stockpiling cash, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, we keep receipts, okay?
Why is it a big deal if somebody like Warren Buffett at Berkshire Hathaway is stockpiling cash?
Well, like your boy John King, he's basically saying, you know what? I'm not going to invest in the stock market right now because I think there's going to be a healthy correction. Now, he's not pulling out all of his money. He's docking it, okay? He's going to take some of his money out the game and put it into cash and say, I'm going to hold cash until the market corrects, and then I'm going to buy when it goes down, when I think it's going to go back up, essentially. And I'm paraphrasing a lot of analytics here, but let me put this into a quantifiable picture for you. Okay? If you're driving, I want you to know I'm going to be throwing out some big numbers, and they probably are going to be infuriating. So autopilot's a good thing. Maybe woosah, take some ashwagandha. Here we go. This is insane. From the Kobisi letter, Warren Buffett is now building his cash balances at an unprecedented rate. For the internet trolls out there, unprecedented means never before happened, okay? Even as the market hits new records, Berkshire Hathaway just announced that they are freezing buybacks and holding $325 billion of cash. Yeah, let that sink in. So obviously, Dr. Buffett sees something very interesting. Charlie Munger, rest in peace. Much love.
Yeah, man.
This compares to $345 million in Q2 of 2023 and $2 billion in each of the prior two quarters. Berkshire said it will buy back stock when Buffett, and I'm quoting here, believes that the repurchase price is below Berkshire's intrinsic value.
Wow.
What he's basically saying is we're not going to buy back stock when it's being valued at more than we think it's worth. Because it's overvalued.
Yeah. So like Mr. John King, he realizes that stocks are overvalued right now, right? But keep in mind, Berkshire Hathaway is also in the business of buying companies outright. How many companies do they flat out own?
A lot.
A lot, right? So don't be surprised if they try to come up on some companies that are really hurting and in a tight pinch.
Bro, I'll give you some great fun facts here.
Let's go.
Dive into that.
Fun fact number 1. Dude, this is the fun fact show.
I can't. Why you got to juvenile trivialize it?
What do you mean, juvenile?
I got 3 of them because there's 3 of us. I was being considerate.
No, I'm being honest.
I'm team building here, bro.
You are team building.
I just didn't know that Haroon couldn't read.
No, he can. He got this.
Kind of.
Which one do you want, Haroon? 1, 2, or 3?
I don't know. Just go.
Just go. Oh, here we go.
Wow, so
Fun
salty.
fact: buybacks and inflation hedge. Large corporations, including Berkshire Hathaway, view buybacks as a potential hedge against inflation. He didn't say crypto. By reducing outstanding shares, companies like Berkshire theoretically increase shareholder value without needing to raise dividends or wages.
Now you know.
Now you know.
Haroon?
Sorry.
See,
Can't even take my mute off.
this is why. This is
You got this, bro.
such a problem.
Fun fact:
It's blurred, bro. It's because it's in bold.
It's not blurred. It's in bold, so it's
Stop
harder to
being
read.
mean. Stop being mean.
Viewers are gonna be like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
quiet.
No wonder why they don't put a camera on him.
Long-term perspective. Oh, fuck it, I'm done. I was gonna say buffet.
Buffett has emphasized that Berkshire's buybacks reflect not just intrinsic value, but a strategy to keep long-term shareholders invested. Over the last decade, Berkshire has spent approximately $70 billion on share repurchases.
Warren Buffet.
That's like an SNL skit.
There's so many reasons why that's funny, not the least of which is his weight.
That's good, bro. That's good. That's good.
When was the last time you went to Warren Buffet?
Oh, that's a good restaurant.
Fun fact, global perspective. Stock buybacks are more common in the U.S. than abroad. In Europe, buybacks only make up about 25% of the shareholder returns compared to the U.S., where they account for approximately 60 to 70%. This difference could be discussed as I can't read the rest of it.
Cultural approach to corporate value and investor trust.
Yeah, so the U.S. is obviously more focused on those things, where in Europe, they want to be more of a steadfast, consistent company over time. This is the last article coming up here. I know it's been a long show, but I thought this was kind of crazy because it wraps it all up and puts it in perspective, it being the economy, the markets, the impacts to the consumer. I found this on CNBC, and to me, it was very telling. 28% of credit card users are still paying off last year's holiday debt. How to get this season's tab under control was the ongoing article, but there's some stats here which I think are worth sharing. For some shoppers, the upcoming holiday season may lead to significant credit card debt. Meanwhile, some people are still paying off debt from last year's gift buying. In fact, 28% of shoppers who use credit cards have not paid off their presents they purchased for their family and friends last year, according to a recent holiday spending report by NerdWallet. The site polled more than 1,700 adults in September. Here's a quote from the article. Between buying gifts and booking peak season travel, the holidays are an expensive time of year, said Sarah Ratner, NerdWallet's credit card expert. Not only are consumers at risk of getting into credit card debt, but that debt can stick around long after the decorations come down. So,
you took a pretty heavy stance last year, I remember.
I've always had a heavy stance on holiday gift buying.
Oh, really? I thought last year was the first time I heard about it.
No. I've always had a pretty, I think gifts in a lot of ways are overdone. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for good gift giving, but I think the gift of spending time together is immensely more valuable. Number one, that's what you remember more than anything else.
That's not, you don't give that to anybody.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I give it to some people.
Okay, cool. I'm just out here.
I give you an hour of my day every day.
What?
In my head. I give it to you in my head, in my mind. I'm thinking about you.
In the ice barrel.
Yeah. Does this count?
Affiliate link down below.
You get 12% off everything but chillers.
Yeah.
Go to icebarrel.com. Use the code Chris.
Yeah.
As in not Saied.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll change my code to paper hands.
Yeah. Time. You got to give the gift of time.
All right. So I have the story that I have to share, which is a very douchey story, which I promised at the middle of the show there. Haroon, feel free. I know you're going to take some shots.
Please, man.
So a guy I know was checking out and he's a pretty successful guy, right?
Checking out.
Checking out at the like snack bar thing in Equinox, and I was behind him. And he pulled out his platinum card, and I was just fucking with him. You know, I was like, "Hey, man, I remember when I used to have platinum's cute."
Oh shit.
He's like, "What do you mean?" Pull the black card and I swipe,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, "Okay, one day you'll grow up too." I'm just fucking with him, right? Because I know he does well for himself, right?
And you know him.
Huh?
You know him, you said?
Yeah, I know him well.
Yeah.
So I was busting his chops, and he's like, "Oh, big baller, like making fun of me, all that kind of stuff." And I was like, whatever, just being a dick. And we go out to the valet.
Oh.
All of a sudden, I hear "Roar!" Black Ferrari
Yeah.
rolls up.
Yeah.
It's his.
Yeah.
My Rivian right behind it.
It's a little embarrassing.
But the irony is that we were talking about financing, and he says something I didn't know. I'm like, "What's up with the Ferrari, bro?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I didn't peg you as a Ferrari guy. I pegged you as a poor guy." And
Or you just pegged him.
no, I peg everybody.
Got it.
Dock your dollars.
Dock your dollars.
And he said, I didn't know this either, but a friend of mine has a Ferrari, and he was telling me that once you get in with Ferrari finance, it's really valuable, and they actually offer lines of credit to use like in business and other places if you just have a relationship with them.
Oh.
And he's like, in certain cars you buy, you typically don't take a loss on them economically because they go up in value in this economy, at least anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, if you buy the right Ferrari, they increase in value over time. And you also get in with Ferrari finance. So he's like, I've got a $1 million line of credit for business purposes from Ferrari finance with unbelievable terms.
What?
And he also was breaking down like the financing terms with Ferrari Direct. And he's like, believe it or not, if I put more money down, it was actually not going to improve my payment a whole lot. So when I went in, I was thinking I was going to put $160,000 down on this car. You think about like a $500,000 Ferrari. And he goes, but with the way the financing worked out, if I put down $60,000, it was the same amount of monthly payment.
Oh,
he's
what?
like, they do a very weird thing with the financing. Once you get in with them, you have access to things like these lines of credit. I didn't even know those existed.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you need to be like an approved member from them to even be able to buy a car from them, right? First?
It depends on if you're buying like an entry level, like beginning car, but if you want to buy it directly from them,
Yeah.
you're going to have to.
Because they're really
Put in the
particular
time.
about who buys certain cars because they don't want you reselling to some jackass.
Not only that, but they also don't want you like modifying their cars heavily.
Yeah.
Like they will ban you. Like Justin Bieber's banned from buying Ferraris.
Ugh, bro, by the way, so I have a equally bad story when it comes to the valet. The wife and I had just gotten married, newlyweds. Okay.
So this is obviously like 20 years ago.
Yeah, this is 11 years ago.
20.
Right.
Well, yeah.
And we go to dinner, with one of my wife's friends and her husband, and they invite us to a spot in LA. Unbeknownst to me, it was Robert De Niro's restaurant. I have no business being at Robert De Niro's restaurant.
Oh, it was that Italian place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget the name. I don't want to butcher the name, but
I've been there a couple times. It's nice.
yeah, very nice.
Good Italian food.
Don't get me wrong, very nice, right?
Yeah.
But whatever, we have dinner, and mind you, at this time, I think I'm working. My wife wasn't working yet; she was still going to school, and we had no business being at this kind of restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And we had never paid for a meal like this before, so I'm sweating the entire time. Like, bro, what's this bill?
It's wildly expensive there.
So, because
yeah.
out of nowhere, in the middle of dinner, my wife's friend's husband invites one of his other friends to dinner as well,
Mhm.
right? Some big baller. He came in a 3-piece like Great Gatsby suit. He was slick, He owned some like merchant services business, right? The card business, right? Where he gets a fee off every time somebody swipes the card.
And you were like, I know this motherfucker's paying for himself.
Bro, so bill comes, whatever. And mind you, I ordered just a basic meal. These motherfuckers are out here like buying drinks. And of course, I'm in that awkward position. Y'all want to split the bill? Like, no, man. Like, I did not order drinks. I don't want to split the bill.
Y'all want to split in thirds?
Yeah.
No.
Dog, I got a side salad. What do you mean split in thirds?
I ate the rolls. Those are free.
Yeah, man. I ate your side salad. You weren't paying attention. So anyways, we pay for the bill. Mind you, they both dropped their black cards into the thing, and I'm like, okay, I got my little Chase credit card here. No problem. Whatever. We pay for the bill. Overpaid, right? We go to valet. This guy's got a new SLS. The other guy's got some decked out new Range Rover that was hot at the time. And I walk out and our white Honda Civic comes pulling up. I'm like, man, you couldn't wait to pull up my car until after they left? Come on, man. It was It was rough. It was rough.
It's weird how some of those things are like real. we all know it's stupid, but it's a real thing.
I know my car still gets me from point A to point B.
Just not with a lot of range. Very limited in range.
Limited in range.
Yeah, it's
great gas mileage.
It's not going to get you the full distance, but it'll get you halfway there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost to the climax, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Haroon, we didn't give you an opportunity for poppy culture. Did you want to try to read something else tonight to redeem yourself?
No, I'm good, man.
You sure?
We're at 1:15.
We're at 1:15.
Are you suggesting that we should go longer? Somebody said we needed some longer format around here.
Who said that?
Me.
Going back to 2 days or two weeks.
You know, I have been getting a lot of people saying we need more content. We need more content. And somebody who's like big in the podcast space told me that we need to start putting out more content. I think about doing like one-off show kind of things. You know, like we'll do like it's like an educational moment.
Yeah, exactly. I think we should do a lot of those.
Yeah.
You used to do that before we joined.
Yeah, I do like the by myself solo dolos.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking more like 20, 30 minutes on just one topic. But I have to get Saied to commit to be willing to do it
like
too.
a deep dive.
With limited range.
What's up with the fun fact limited range episode?
You didn't like the fun fact? That's part of
I
it?
love the fun fact aspect of the
Yeah,
show.
just we got to work on Haroon's reading, obviously, but
He'll get there.
Yeah, he'll get there.
Or he got a little shy.
He just wasn't used to it.
Bro, I remember my first time reading on the show. I was what? I couldn't say a damn thing.
It is a little weird when you first start.
And then you hear yourself on the playback too. You're like, God, I sound like such a jackass.
No, I'm used to sound like a jackass. That's normal for me.
That was a very hard thing to get over. Listening to yourself talk, you're like, oh God.
Shit, now I do it every week when I edit the show.
Yeah.
Not exactly my best work, but you know, it's work. Well, let's call it, kids.
Oh, do you got anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What do you got? Oh yeah, he does review.
Ooh, that's right.
I had
Unfortunately, the
forgotten.
title got cut off. So I don't know what the full title says, but this from ZStan80. Thank you, ZStan. By the way, it's captioned.
This is a great review. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like getting financial literacy from. I like to take a guess. What do you think he said?
Jesus.
Jesus. Could you even pull this up in the background in the meantime?
I can probably get it on my
You
phone.
probably. It wasn't popping up on my.
This is iTunes.
Yeah, this is Apple Podcasts.
Oh,
Left us 5 stars. Clearly honest. Really glad I found this podcast and wish it was around 20 years ago, but better late than never. At least for me. I mean, shit. If we were around that long ago, I mean,
it's cut off. That's what it is.
yeah. I really like the way they explain topics and ideas. It's not only helpful, but there's no twist at the end where they're telling you to invest in XYZ and they just happen to be selling XYZ. This show has integrity and it's entertaining. Keep up the great work, fellas. Appreciate you.
Do we
Zizan.
have
Oh, here you
integrity?
go. It's like getting financial literacy from your buddy and not a professor.
That was actually the intent of the show. When we first mapped out what we wanted the show to be, we wanted it to be like people were sitting in a conversation with their friends at a bar, just shooting shit, having a good time, because we thought that the educational professor-like format or like the guru-like format is kind of disingenuous.
Yeah.
You know? And look, nobody wants to listen to a professor every single day. Everyone's like, oh my God, I'm going to school. Yay.
No.
Right? And no one's like, oh, that guru is so amazing 2 years later when they take all your money and run. So we wanted to be, more friendly and anecdotal. It should feel like you're listening to your friends and you're learning something along the way.
And from what I've heard from other people too, they're able to digest the information a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metabolize it.
There you go.
Dock it. Put it in there. Leave it there.
Dock your dollars. That's a t-shirt.
I got to find the visual for it, though. It's got to be appropriate.
No, inappropriate, bro.
Inappropriately appropriate.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an eggplant in the front.
Yeah. Good.
The higher standard. Brought to you by eggplants.
That's very fitting for the show.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. You got anything else, Odin?
Nope, all done.
Clearing a
you,
hair wall
sir.
back there?
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir. You got anything?
No, I'm good.
All right. I'm Gucci.
I'm Chanel.
All right. No, you're not.
Okay. I'm Prada.
No, you're Hermes.
I am.
You are.
I am.
If you were one, you would be Hermes.
I probably would be. And you'd have to.
What's Odin?
Oh, coach for sure.
Juicy.
Gap.
Juicy couture.
Gap. I'm Bass Pro Shops.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man of the people.
You
You
can't
went
sell-
for the first time this weekend.
I did. I went to Bass Pro Shops this past
They're
weekend.
big, right?
I just was like, I have to see this place. I've never been inside.
It's incredibly overwhelmingly big. Have
It's-
you seen the ones in the Midwest?
so it was actually my wife's idea. She wanted to go check out. So I want to see this. It seems like it's pretty cool. Let's go check it out inside. She's like, it feels weird that this store is so big and I know nothing about what's inside, right? I go, okay, let's go check it out. I mean, I've never been either, whatever. And she's like, okay, I'm glad I experienced it. Not for me, right? I was like, I feel like you're more of an REI person. I was like, let's go to REI. And she loved REI. So, because
Why did you do this?
because we had some free time on our hands. Our kids, where were our kids? Our kids were
Disneyland.
Yeah, they went to Disneyland.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
One of the cousins.
yeah.
One that wears pearls.
One of the cousins, took them to Disneyland for the day.
One that wears pearls.
Dude, they got in at 4:00 and somehow they still hit 10 rides.
It rained that day.
Yeah, I know, and they got them the little things to
Parkas?
Yeah, they had a great time. They went to Star Wars, then they had to shut down the ride, and Adam was texting me from his watch, and he's just like, "We got into the best ride at the park," and then he texted me 5 minutes later. He's like, "They shut it down." I was like, "Oh." And then they opened it back up later, and my cousin bought him lightning passes.
Yeah.
And then they went.
Bro, it's such a racket. We spend so much money every time we go now. Lightning pass, anything else.
I mean, if you don't get he was telling me that there's some other thing that you can get, where it's like some $500 like concierge package.
Oh no, they just rolled that out. So basically, you have lightning lane for everything whenever you want now.
It's $500 an hour.
No, it's $500 period.
No, he was telling me it's $500 an hour. That's what he said.
Oh no, so you're talking about
This is something that the celebrities get. Where they just walk up to the front of the line.
No, it's $600 an hour starting, and that's you have somebody who walks you around the whole day. But it's not just that. You have to pay for your tickets.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay, and then you have to. It's a whole like a bunch. I've done this once, so it's $600 an hour, and there's a certain number of hours minimum. But they walk you in front of every ride. They walk you around. They're basically with you, like taking you everywhere else. They'll get you like the food that's cool. They'll kind of give you like the hip stories, everything else. The back door. They'll take you to Club 33. Yeah, it depends on how often you're there. But celebrities usually get them to walk them around like that. And there's back ways into some of the rides. You don't have to go like through the lines. People see you.
Yeah,
I've done it. I've experienced it once. I've paid for it once. There's a whole thing there. Yeah.
So my cousin gets him these lightning passes, and Adam doesn't know what lightning pass means, right? And so he tells Adam, it just means you're part of a VIP line. Cousin doesn't have kids. He doesn't understand, like, he's not thinking 2-3 steps ahead what could happen when you tell him VIP and what VIP means, very important person. So now Adam and I go to these lightning pass lines and doesn't understand that other people also have lightning passes, right? So he says, hey, this is VIP. Why are they here? He's I thought we're VIP. Can we go in front of these people? And they're standing right there.
I mean, we can't all be VIPs, right? I mean,
everybody can be VIP. What is this?
Did you buy like the cheap VIP package?
Yeah, exactly. Come on. Why'd you skimp out?
Why is this guy here? He's dressed like a Star Wars person.
Yeah, I'm looking at him. Look at his kicks. He's not VIP.
Yeah. Can't be wearing Reeboks.
Right. Come on now.
What do you think this is?
Yeah. LA Gear?
Yeah.
All right. This was a good episode, boys.
It's okay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.
Ate it.
I know.